Dark energy, 2 words. We don't really know what those words mean, but we've used them over the last 12 years to describe a very surprising observation. This observation is that the universe, which we've known for over 100 years is actually expanding faster now than it was about 1 billion, 2 billion years ago. It's expanding slower than it was at the time of the Big Bang, but it is remarkable that at this point in time, about 14 billion years after the Big Bang, it started speeding up again.
So the Dark Energy Survey is a galaxy survey which aims to capture the essence of dark energy. So dark energy is a non-observable property of the universe or substance in the universe, causing the universe's expansion to accelerate.
I got involved with DARES mostly from the point of view of studying clusters of galaxies. Clusters are the largest gravitationally bound objects in the universe, so they're much larger than the solar system, which is a gravitationally bound system that most people are familiar with. From the point of view of the galaxies, what I hope my group will be bringing in to the project is the ability to find clusters of galaxies. They're very rare objects, so they're difficult to find, and also the ability to measure the masses of those objects.
So I look for clusters of galaxies using the properties of the galaxies. Specific properties: colour. Galaxies at a similar distance will all be redshifted by the same amount. They should look approximately similar in colour. Also, because they're in the same neighbourhood, chemically they look fairly similar as well. So also they look the same colours. It's
very important that we measure the mass of the mass of the clusters of galaxies. If we don't measure the mass, we can't use them to study cosmology. There are various ways to measure those masses. The most direct way that we'll be using in the Dark Energy Survey is to count the number of galaxies in each cluster. You can imagine a heavier cluster has more galaxies. Very straightforward. But understanding the connection between the number of galaxies and the total mass, most of which is in something called dark matter, is quite difficult. We can also use the X-ray properties of clusters. They're full of hot gas. That gas radiates at the X-ray part of the spectrum, and by studying the X-rays we can get a handle on the mass. And so what I'll be bringing to the Dark Energy Survey are observations of X-ray clusters, and then being able to compare the X-ray properties to the number of galaxies, and we hope then to be able to calibrate this mass to observable relation.
So there are three key components. One is the number of the clusters of galaxies, the mass of the clusters of galaxies, and thirdly, their distribution in redshift.
So what we're essentially doing is gathering up the clusters and dividing them into little ones and big ones, and seeing how that distribution changes as time goes by in the universe. And one thing that I've been working on here at Sussex is trying to represent that using UK coinage. And so if you think of the smaller denomination coins being the lighter, the less massive clusters, all the way up to the pound coins, which are the most massive, then that can give you an idea of the distribution of cluster masses in the universe. So here's the distribution of coins. I place them into my coin sorter. So you can see that there's a fairly even distribution of the different coins, but the distribution is peaking at around 5 pence. You'll be finding more of the mid-range mass clusters than you will of the very heavy or the very light ones, and in particular you're unlikely to have found any of the very, very heavy ones. Now this distribution is what we expect if we do have dark energy in the universe. So the way we use these cluster sorting techniques to tell the difference between different cosmological models can be demonstrated by this second set of coins that I've got here. But in this case, there isn't any dark energy, there isn't even any mysterious dark matter. Everything's made of the same sorts of stuff that you and I are made of. And so what we've demonstrated here is by looking at the distributions of the different masses of clusters, or the different distributions of coins, we can tell the difference between very different types of cosmological model. Astronomers tend to be mavericks, and we go into things with an open mind. And when I hope the Dark Energy Survey is finished and we'll be leading into new experiments such as the Euclid satellite in about 10 years, that what we'll have discovered is that our models were wrong. That in fact, either the universe is more complicated than we think now, or even better, it's even more simple. But the most important thing is that we gather as many observations as we can without prejudice and let the universe talk to us about what's going on.